Guyana needs workers. Hicken accused of violating law, and CGX considers drilling additional wells. I am Noriko Beaufort, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Guyana faces a shortage of over 100,000 skilled and semi-skilled workers. To bridge this gap, authorities are considering ways to involve the global diaspora and review immigration policies for work permits. The establishment of a national labor committee and incentivizing workers could also help address the issue. A recent multi-stakeholders meeting on Guyana's labor needs discussed these recommendations. So far, the government has allowed foreign companies executing infrastructure projects to import workers, but ultimately they prefer to employ Guyanese first. A new hospital will be built in New Amsterdam, offering specialized services and the best of surgery, according to the health minister. The construction of new hospitals in the region is part of the government's plan to expand healthcare across the nation, with a total of 12 new hospitals being constructed, 6 of which is being built by Sinopharm. Yes, the same ones that made the stabby poke juice. Construction on the new hospital in New Amsterdam will commence shortly and is included in the 2023 national budget. A fly-always flight from Guyana to Suriname was forced to return to the airport after one of the plane's engines failed in midair. The plane was flown to a maintenance facility in Suriname for a thorough check and possible repairs. The Guyana Fire Service was deployed as a precautionary measure, but all passengers were evacuated safely. Inter-Caribbean Airways has been warned by the Guyanese government that it could face sanctions if it doesn't address concerns over flight delays and cancellations. The airline has committed to better handling in Barbados and additional aircraft to address these delays. But if it fails to fulfill these obligations, the government may take additional actions or possible sanctions, as previously stated. The type of punishment will depend on the seriousness of the inconvenience caused to passengers. Retired Justice William Ramlall accused Acting Police Commissioner Clifton Hicken of violating the Police Complaints Authority Act by not sending files to the Police Complaints Authority for investigations into the deaths of at least 4 persons involving the police. Justice Ramlall recommended that the President should intervene and ensure the Commissioner of Police complies with the law. He also stated that the matters prepared and sent to the DPP must be sent back to the police as the correct procedures were not followed. Justice Ramlall noted that the Commissioner has never contacted or consulted the authority on any of these matters, which is a statutory obligation. Now for crime news. A 12-year-old girl, Akeelia Adams, and her aunt Cheryl Moore died in a fire in Silvertown, Wismar, Linden, on Monday night. The fire was set allegedly by the brother of the woman who died, who apparently suffers from a mental disorder, and he had made threats against her in the past. The girl's father tried to save them but was unable. The community and local government officials have expressed their condolences and renewed calls for a fire station to be built in the area.
Attention truck owners. Between potholes, bad drivers, and high fuel prices, you've got 99 problems to deal with. But with Powered Automotive, your engine ain't one. That's because they stock high-quality parts and spares you need at prices you can't beat. Visit them at Lot 491 EE Eccles, or call or WhatsApp them at telephone number 6970171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. Tired of waiting on hold, tracking down a delivery driver, or carrying cash for your food orders? GT Eat is here to make your life easier. Guyana's first cashless food ordering and delivery app. Choose from Georgetown's top restaurants, pay securely with your card, and get your food delivered right to your doorstep. With the convenience of being able to order from your phone and the added feature of tracking your order, GT Eats is the ultimate solution for all your food needs. Download the app on Apple and Android stores and start ordering the easy way today.
A mother and son, Sasha LaCruz and Elias Wilson, died in a fire that broke out at their home in Good Hope on the Essequibo coast. Other family members managed to escape, but the wooden and concrete house burned to the ground before firemen could arrive. The cause of the fire is currently under investigation. A disagreement between a horse cart operator and a laborer turned deadly in Plum Park, Savannah, when the laborer stabbed the operator to death with a pair of scissors. The two men had an ongoing disagreement that escalated into an argument, during which the laborer armed himself with the knife and attempted to stab the operator. The operator was pronounced dead on arrival at the hospital, and the suspect, identified as Mark Harris, turned himself in to the police. Canoe discovered 180.6 kilos, or about 398.2 pounds, of cannabis in bags during an operation at Number 51 Village, Quarantine Region 6. The drugs were worth $54.1 million on the streets. Two individuals were arrested and are currently helping with the investigation. Yesterday, PK security manager Michael Bascom died when his vehicle toppled on the east coast of Demerara at Les Ressouvenirs. He was conducting routine security checks when the accident occurred at about 12:30 p.m. Bascom was heading to Georgetown on the Railway Embankment Road at the time. Two children who were being treated for dengue infection at the Georgetown Public Hospital have passed away. One of the deceased children was a student from the Essequibo Islands, and he had been a patient in the ICU for the last 5 days. Now for today's oil update. CGX Energy's appraisal program in Guyana's quarantine block, which covers an area of 993.9 square kilometers, could lead to additional prospects being tapped pending results from the Way 1 appraisal. The program was approved in June after the discovery at Kawa 1 in the northern quarantine area. CGX has no further drilling obligations beyond Way 1, but may consider future wells to evaluate development feasibility. The Way 1 well encountered hydrocarbons, but it is uncertain whether this is enough to justify commercial development in that part of the quarantine block.
It might not be robbery season, but the streets are still mean. That's why you need to get security for your home and business through Sheriff Security Service. Sheriff Security offers well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, marine patrol, canine services. These people even got drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest, now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today.
Now for our Uncut News Views Poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Ghana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. Last night I asked, how can the government convince nurses to stay?
But before we get to that, I'm proud to announce our latest addition to the Noble Army, Richard Singh, who is supporting us at the reporter level, the highest level of monthly support we've received so far. So thank you, Richard Singh. And also a special thank you to David Griffith, Dion Nascimento, Project Zero, and Dimitri V. I appreciate you all. And if you're watching at home and you'd like to support our movement, just hit the link in the video description.
Davy Samaru says, it's not rocket science. It seems like neither the government nor the opposition cares about nurses in Ghana. If they did, why are they avoiding the nurses' cries for so long? We've seen protests for better working conditions, healthcare, and competitive salaries. Yet we haven't seen any meaningful consultations being initiated by our Minister of Health or anyone on his behalf. Address the nurses' cries and prevent the brain drain. Indeed, it's obvious. They're already saying what can convince them to stay. They need to stop ignoring them, just listen to the calls, and they'll stay. Miracle Webster goes into more detail, saying, remove the existing 5-year contract obligation to enable contract negotiations. Secondly, we must invest in equipment that assists nurses in lifting and moving patients who require assistance. Additionally, we need to offer more career advancement opportunities, such as sponsorships, to aid our nurses in their growth and success within our healthcare system. Finally, we should explore providing higher salaries to attract and retain top talent and enhance occupational safety and health within the healthcare system workplace. Miracle Webster, you must be a nurse because you really sound like you know what you're talking about there. Lloyd Bartholomew says the government needs to stop replacing skilled people with unskilled, family, friends, and favorites, coupled with justifiable wages. People need a living wage to maintain their lives. Maybe offering and sustaining better salaries will make people stay or come back to Guyana. And finally, Tasha Henry simply says to double the salaries. We have the money to do it. Now for tonight's question. I didn't do it for this month yet, so here we're doing it today. I want to know, what question do you have for me, Noriko? I want you to think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your question is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Noriko Pulford saying good night, folks.